Breaking news for NXL Mid-Atlantic Major. This episode is brought to you by HK Army, and they are showing major love to the NXL participants by offering $20 cases of paint to anyone attending the Atlantic City event from June 20th to the 23rd. And that means any teams, regardless of sponsorship, can get Level 5 exclusive tournament paint for only $20 a case, and the new pink shell yellow fill formula is on point. Houston Heat shot at all event in Texas and was one of 3 teams to go into Sunday 4-0, and HK Army is doing everything that they can to make paint more cost-effective for you in Atlantic City. All you got to do to reserve your paint is email my dog, Leopard King, Chad Yaya Boucher, at chad@hkarmy.com to let him know you want $20 cases of paint in the AC. Once again, CHAD@hkarmy.com. Email him right now. Do not wait. Reserve your paint before it's gone. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have Arturo Andrade of San Diego Dynasty, and he is coming off of a massive win over in Europe with Skalp in the NXL European Pro Division. It's not easy to win in Europe. So Arturo checking that off his bucket list is just another notch on the belt in what has already been an amazing career. You guys aren't going to want to miss this one. It's packed with motivation, inspiration, and one of the best to ever come out of Mexico.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon. Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another episode 259. We're going to have Arturo Andrade dropping in here in just a moment. But before we get into that, Marchie, how you doing? We got a busy day ahead of us. We're getting ready for BKI Summer Camp. We got a lot to do today.
Indeed. Yeah, absolutely busy day and kind of a hectic travel week. The CrowdStrike situation has been a mess. Delta, unfortunately, getting affected the worst. And I hate saying that publicly on air, that Delta is just handling this the worst. But
allegedly.
Yeah. No, it's facts. I guess it's like the only airline that also had its crew scheduling platform affected. So the other airlines really were just having issues with like the check-in process, but Delta is having issues with their scheduling. So like they can't get pilots or flight attendants to the right flight. Like they're literally just calling on the overhead. Any pilot know how to fly this equipment, come to gate B12. Like that's how they're getting stuff done in some of these airports right now. It's absolutely chaos. I went out
experienced that this weekend.
Yeah, big time. I went out to New York to work with the Wrecking Crew boys on Friday, and I woke up early Friday morning. My flight was at 6:30 in the morning, so I woke up at like 3:30, and I had all these notifications about the outage, this massive outage. So I checked my flight, looked like it was still on time. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I better go a little bit early. So I went a little bit early. I walked through the door, and I immediately texted the owner of the team, Rob. I said, Rob, don't alarm the guys yet. I'm going to try to find another way, but there's no way I make my flight. The Sky Priority line was out the door. There was news crews in there going down the line, doing interviews of everybody because so many cancellations.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a disaster. I mean, I'm an hour in like 15 minutes before my flight. There's no way I'm going to get through this. Somehow I pulled it off though. I went over to the, like tag your own bag thing and then waited in that line. And you're supposed to check those bags 45 minutes before, but they ended up being really lenient. I think they had so many cancellations. They're like, look, if there's any chance we could get people on flights that are getting out, we're going to.
Yeah.
So I got up to the counter expecting to be rejected, and they took my bags, and I was able to breeze through security. I was literally the last person on the airplane right as they were closing the door, and made it. But on the way back was a huge bummer because my flight got canceled. Well, it got delayed. So I was going to miss my connection in Atlanta. Atlanta's a mess right now. I was going to miss my connection in Atlanta. And then, there wasn't another flight out until like Wednesday is what they were saying. So I was on customer service hold for like 2 hours trying to sort this out. I went through 3 different supervisors, and they were basically telling me my flight was supposed to come home Sunday night. They were saying there was nothing available until Wednesday. And I was like, it's just on this does not
right.
Come on. There has to be something, there has to be something. And fortunately, finally, somebody got me on a 6 a.m. Monday morning flight through Detroit, and I was able to make it home yesterday. But
that status.
Yeah, I guess, I was like, please do something, please, but a lot of people are going through it. A lot of people have been stuck for 3 or 4 days in Atlanta or in different places across the country. And that's it's really unfortunate. It's crazy. We're not prepared for some kind of massive IT outage or the grid going down or some kind of cyber attack. We're really not. We're a really fragile system. And, a few things in the last couple of years have exposed that. So I don't know if there's any sort of precautions or things that we can do better as, we move into the future, but it's kind of scary.
We got to build, we definitely got to build that infrastructure out and make sure it's the strongest in the world, when it comes to that type of security and making sure that those systems are going to run properly. And it's a good thing we're both not flying Delta and heading out east here in just, a couple days.
We are both on a couple days. This is tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Delta, and I fly through Atlanta. I'm like looking at Twitter right now. I'm actually looking at as many other options as possible. I'm looking at Twitter right now, and it looks like the Atlanta airport with Delta is just getting rocked today. So, I'm not quite sure what to expect, but summer campers definitely hoping to get there as soon as possible.
Yeah, and summer camp is without a doubt one of the most fun events that we do each and every year.
Best.
We cannot wait to see everybody out there.
Yeah.
It is literally like 12 hours a day of paintball action nonstop. We do workouts in the morning, we train all day, and then we do like film work at night where we will videotape the players playing and doing different drills and critique all those drills at night. So we're really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I missed summer camp last year, and I was so sad the entire week. So I'm really excited to get back there. I just, we gotta send all the good energy to the airplane lords, and I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll make it at least by like Saturday,
Yeah, for the tournament. There's also a tournament on Sunday, so you get to play a mini tournament. Yeah, and March, Nick won last year, Slowiak. So
Nick Slowiak won last year. Yep.
You're gonna have to step back up in there and get it going.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of good coaches. So maybe it's someone else's. Maybe I've passed the torch. I'm not sure. But I am coming back looking to reclaim the title. Not gonna lie.
Of course. It's a big deal. The camp altogether is a lot of fun. It's the most like genuine quality time you could ever get with the paintball community, and then being around all these different pros as well. We're able to connect. I think Spick and Span's probably going to do a show from out there. They typically do out there in Boston. So I'm sure we'll jump on there and say what's up to everybody. And we're looking forward to seeing the campers soon. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Anthony and Lori, what they've done with paintball just as a whole is tremendous. I know we sing their praises often, but
without a doubt,
talk about some paintball patrons that just absolutely love the game and do whatever they can to help actually grow the game. Things like this, the summer camp, are incredible. It's produced some amazing young talent. A lot of the Wrecking Crew players and Team USA players have come up kind of through the summer camp, and they come every single year. Actually, Colton Dahl is going to be like a junior professor this year, which is pretty awesome. He is playing semi-pro with Wrecking Crew and he's had a stellar season so far. It's amazing to see, between that, the combine, BKI, the online program, everything that they commit to, it's so much work. I don't think people realize how hard Anthony and Lori work. Poor Lori, she's always pulling her hair out, stressed to the gills. Everyone's trying to calm her down. It's gonna be okay. She just cares so much.
Yeah.
She really, really does care a ton about all the players and making sure they're having a good time. And I think she kind of feels like a mom to a lot of the kids too. You know, she's really protective over all of them, which is amazing. But
and Team USA as well.
Yes,
you know, we're getting ready for that. It's going to be awesome.
Our guest is saying they don't have the link.
Arturo.
Yes, you do.
And Artie was just out there in the UK where you were at in the NXL Europe, and they won with Skalp, and he played amazing out there. So we're going to talk to him about that here in a second. Before we do, I do want to also let you guys know we're going to be at the WCPPL, and we'll be out there documenting divisional paintball. So if you're at Dub C here coming up in a couple weeks, we'll see you out there August 9th, 10th, and 11th. We'll be out there hanging out. And we should have some new shorts. I think the shorts dropped, and we'll have like a tank top. So some fun summer podcast merch for y'all to rock and support the show. And we cannot thank everyone out there enough for rocking with us on PTG. Without you, this show doesn't keep moving, and we've been having a lot of fun, having some really cool guests on the show. And we actually have another awesome guest coming on. Tony Hawk's son, who's also a pro skater, Riley Hawk, is going to be dropping in. And he should be on August, in the beginning of August there, right in the middle, somewhere in there.
I mean, that's incredible. That's awesome. You know, Tony Hawk, he lives out here in San Diego. I think they're up in like Carlsbad or something like that.
Yeah.
So we got to get him out to ASG, you know?
Yes, sir.
Get him out there. Tony Hawk is a legend. And we just got the text that the shorts and the tank tops, they are in transit right now. Those tank tops look amazing. Should we give a sneak peek? Nah, we can't.
Nah, we can't do that
yet. We can't do that. The shorts go super hard though.
Yep. Yeah, the line when you buy the combo, it looks pretty good together. Oh, you did show. You showed them.
Hardly.
For the YouTubers. Yeah, and thank you everybody. If you can also remember to when you listen to our shows, if you can download them, it means a tremendous amount to us, because podcast analytics don't track streams. It only tracks downloads. So if you can hit that download button when you tune into our podcast, we would really love that.
Comment, share, do all the things.
All that.
Things definitely helps. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so the Riley Hawk show will be really good. I know we've been meaning to get Kat Secor on. She's going to be on here eventually. Her schedule's been pretty busy, and then we were hoping to have her on Monday night. I just wasn't sure I was going to make it home, so I actually need to get back to her. But Artie's having some issues, you know.
Arturo, he's my favorite. One of my favorite paintball players in the pro circuit. You know, we spent a lot of time together on Dynasty as well. Me, him, Blake, we had a whole motley crew of people running around. Pretty fun times.
Yeah, and Arturo's been on fire lately, and so I'm really excited to have him on and kind of pick his brain, because it's such a great story, in my opinion. You know, just the success he's had and how patient he's been with the process. You know, a lot of players of that caliber probably would have left our team by now. You know, he spent a lot of years on Dynasty not getting a lot of playtime. You know, and you know, you could argue that he would have been a starter on many other teams. And he's been super loyal to the program, to the organization, and things are kind of falling in place for him right now. And you love to see it. So like him going over to Europe and getting his first European win, I was really, major, dude. You know, it's not easy to do. And it was actually really cool because, you know, he played with the team Skalp that Malloy guested with. Actually, Malloy plays with them. He just couldn't get into the UK, I guess. So Arturo filled in. And, you know, Malloy played kind of out of his mind the first event. And I think a lot of people thought they only won because of Malloy. And then Arturo came in and he played stellar. And it also shows too that team is actually really good. They have some of the old Carnage guys. You know, if you're familiar with European paintball, Carnage is a team out of France that they didn't always look the best, but they would win games. They would win games. Really steady players. Pizon is dynamite. Geiger is really good over on the Dorito side. So they have a good crew. And then Arturo slid right in, and it's hard to win over there. It's really difficult to win over there. And I think he's only played over in Europe one other time. So to already kind of get accustomed to, and it was when we were in Prague.
That's right. Yeah.
He played semi-pro over there. And so to already get accustomed to the style of play and come in and play as well as he did, I thought was really impressive. It's a hard thing to do. I mean, look at Shock. You know, it's the level guys plus Steven Mazurek from Aftermath. they should be doing a lot better than they are, but they haven't adjusted to that game style. It's very fast. It's very aggressive. It's kind of unconventional. They make moves that you don't expect players to make, and often it works. It's really unique. And, it's one of the things that I always advise is if you're a new pro, you should probably play in as many different countries as possible, because it really helps you become a more well-rounded player, big time. And
without a doubt.
Yeah. And it's because it's also so difficult to win overseas. So, for Arturo to kind of check that off his list was pretty awesome. But here he is. We got him in the back room. Let's see. We're going to bring him on in. Man of the hour.
Yo.
Big Papi.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. El
Presidente.
Lovely.
Let's
Caliente. What's up, T?
Hot fire.
He's got the hat, the trophies, bro.
There you go. My girl was able to clean the trophies a little bit before I came on, It's good.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Artie, which trophies are those there?
I have Iron City Classic from the 5-man in 2021. Those are big and heavy. And that's the 10-man for Iron City Classic of the 2019, the one we won. 10-man, that was cool. And then this is World Cup from last year.
Nice.
Yeah, I stole that one.
Nah, you earned that one, Papi. You earned that one. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was fun. Fun event for sure.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about it before you got on of how good you've been playing. And actually, World Cup was one of those big turning points where you got a lot of play time, much earned, played a really difficult spot. And just your trajectory over the last, year has been amazing. And then obviously heading into this last event where you went over and played with Skalp, guested with them, got the win in Europe, which isn't easy, right? It's like so difficult.
No, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so difficult.
Definitely hard.
Yeah. You play with a team that they speak a different language. The style over there is so much different. It's really tough to acclimate. So, I kind of want to talk to you about that. How was that process? How did you get approached by them? Seemed like it was pretty last minute.
Yes, it was. So definitely Blake was the one that hit me up on Sunday afternoon after I was practicing in my field, and said, "Hey, do you want to play Europe?" And I'm always down to do that. We just played Atlantic City, so I looked at my girl and was like, "Well, they're inviting me to Europe. What do you think?" And because we've been working hard in the field, and she's in charge of everything over here. So if I would go, she would have to stay and stay on top of things over here. And it's kind of tough decision to make when you have like this relationship as a team, me and her. But she was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go and have fun. If you can win one of those, and you can, you've never been there." I mean, I went like in 2018 semi-pro with a team, but this was my first opportunity to play like on a pro team. And I told Blake definitely yes. Let me know what's the deal. And then he hooked the things up with Skalp. And I mean, just they bought my flight the next day and went over there. Never saw the field layout before, only on paper. But that was fun to, get into like tournament mode like instantly. It was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talk to us about the culture of the team and what it was like playing for Skalp. They have a really good program that's obviously it's working really well right now. They've been having success. So what is causing that success within that camp?
I think they have a good mentality of how to approach the game. They had Malloy from semi-pro. They won the spot, and then they won the first event in Portugal, which was amazing. So I had big shoes to fill, like I had to, come in and be hard from the go to try to get the win for them as well. And I liked it. It was a different approach, what they told me from having me and having Malloy's different approaches of the game, which was helpful for them because they learned a different style. And we're more like for fun and I kind of like give them the Mexican style of, having laughs and obviously being focused, and they like that a lot. I really enjoy the way they play like a family. They have like all these people that come together in the pits, and they're helping you, and they're giving you high fives all day, and let's go. And they motivate you when you're out there. Like they make you feel like you're part of them, right? Like a tribe. And that was cool. That I felt instantly hooked on trying to make them win, feel like a team. It was not like I was like an outsider, just like a hired gun. It was cool. And honestly, I felt wanted in there. So that was fun to be a part of it. And we started to approach the game and develop a better understanding of what we wanted to do on the field, moving forward. Like the first game was harder, and then it was harder, but then it started to become easy because we started to get better. Like every match we started like, oh, okay, that's what you like to do, and we started to get better as a team, which was really, really fun to do, and especially on a field layout that I didn't even know how to play. So it was like a different approach of the game. Like Marcelo says, it's more like on your face paintball sometimes over there. They don't think, they just kill, and it's hard to control over there. It's hard to control and be disciplined, especially on that layout, I thought.
Yeah, that team energy and that chemistry is obviously super important. So having such a great camp like that, the energy's high, and then having a player of your caliber too, because Artie, you're one of the hardest working paintball players in the game. You own the MXL, you play for Dynasty, you tirelessly think about this game and care about this game and are always trying to push it forward and think of new ways to be creative. And you're like a model player for anybody looking for a player to model their style after or their characteristics. Look no further than this guy right here. Arturo is dedicated, so to be able to plug you into that camp is probably a treat for them as well, to have a player such as yourself who cares so much come in there and really boost the energy as well, because you bring your own energy too. You have a very powerful energy that you bring to the field. So I'm sure that they were excited to have you in there. And then I'm sure they're probably going to have Malloy back, I would imagine, for the final
that is
event.
correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I knew it from the go. Once I knew what team I was going to play on, I was kind of curious to know why Malloy wasn't playing with them, because they just won with him, and he played lights out on the last event. So the reason he wasn't there is I think they had some visa issues or something like that, and they were going to play without any pro for that event. But I guess that the practice before the tournament, or the practices before, weren't going so well on the snake side or something. So they were looking for a guy that could, like you said, plug in and come and do kind of what I did, which was, good for me. And yeah, so they're going to continue with Malloy, because, Malloy is one of the best for a reason. He had them playing the semi-pro, won their spot, and, there's no reason for not continuing with the program that they have, that it's been working. So I'm happy to be able to help
there and got a win, baby. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. That was cool. That was cool to be able to, put my part in and also get a win. It doesn't say anything, just that it was a fun experience with the team. It was a team win for sure. I have to say that they're like a good team, and we were able to play team ball. Yeah. And there were points where I was able to do something good, and there were points where they stepped up. So it wasn't like I did everything for them. They played great. They have really good players, and they were able to play everywhere on the field. Some of the players were playing everywhere. It wasn't like, they were just doing their own thing. So they were able to be versatile and play in different spots and understand the game. In the last point against Breakout Spa, they understood that we had like the seconds, and they played it perfectly. Like when I think about it and I look at it, it's like I didn't have to say anything, and they just did it perfectly. Even against you, Marcelo, like that last point against you guys, I really thought that you had us. Like,
I know
that situation was amazing. And if you think about it, like I think the reason that it happened so fast that on the moment, I didn't even realize what happened until like you see it like slowly. You see how the kills came and how it happened. The push was a little bit earlier, I think. And that's why the team had time to actually put the point on the other side, right? So you start to learn stuff like that, and you're like, oh, interesting how things developed, and every team learned from that. I think that your team learned, and myself learned from that experience. Even for the last point against Skinny's team, when we had like 30 seconds, I even waited a little bit more, so I didn't know where the guy in the snake was, because he didn't pop for like a while, and I was trying to find him. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go, but if it doesn't work, they won't have time to come back. So that I learned from that match, and didn't bit me, on that point. So it was great to see them actually play so good on the team.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a fantastic team. I mean, we shot you off the break. We got another quick kill. You shot one of us. It was a 4-on-3 in overtime. And I'm looking at it like, okay, you can't ask for a better situation right now.
100%.
And we just couldn't close the game out. You guys did such a good job of playing together. You had that tower cross field and 2 on the snake side. So the tower was over on the Dorito side. And anytime that person switched, one of the snake guys switched. They communicated so well that there wasn't much opportunity, but there was still opportunity. I would have liked for our snake guy to just go bunker one of your snake guys and then leave the 2-on-1 on that side. It would have made the game a whole lot easier. We also had opportunity on the Dorito side,
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but you're right. Your team played such good team paintball that's why they were able to do that. And then the awareness to absorb the attack towards the end of that point and be able to get the kills and to outlive them, just absorb the attack, shoot us, and then hit the buzzer and win.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a great moment for sure. It was great.
It was championship pedigree, right? That's what that is, And after winning the first event, they kind of have that momentum, that confidence in those moments. And now 2 events. I don't know if a team's won all 3 events. I don't think it. No,
Interesting.
I'm pretty certain a team has not won all 3 events in one season over there yet. They've only been doing 3 events since
COVID,
but still,
Yeah.
Wow.
So Artie, your first time going to Europe was in 2018 when we were on the Expendables.
That's right, baby.
Dang,
you guys won.
Crazy.
That was a great. Yeah,
dude. And you were a part of that energy too. I'll never forget you being in right there with us the whole way through it. And I'll never forget that weekend. That weekend was timeless.
Magical for sure.
I
would love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It was an amazing weekend. Tyler, I was just telling the Wrecking Crew kids about that weekend, and I was telling them about our hotel situation. I was like, it might have been one of the worst because it was so brutally hot. We were at the top.
We were 9 stories up,
and you had to carry your bags up this spiral staircase all the way to the top every day. The event was scorching hot. There was no AC in the rooms. Tyler and I were sharing a bed.
It was crazy, man.
It was brutal.
But those are honestly, when you're traveling, we call it the schlep, embrace the schlep, embrace the BS, whatever type of madness is going on. You just have to embrace it. Because honestly, through those moments, you're building chemistry, you're building a deeper appreciation of the adventure, and it powers you into whatever is going to be in front of you next. And then you can start knocking those walls down and knock those walls down. But you really got to just have fun in the BS, embrace all the madness.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that was crazy. We were with the New Zealand squad. I think that's the first win in New Zealand history that the country has ever had. It might be the only one, I think.
What do you mean?
Right? For paintball, New Zealand.
Well, they won a bunch over in the Australian Super Sevens Pro Division, but it's the first major one
for Europe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In the Pro Division,
yep.
We had won a bunch in semi-pro the year before, but with them. But Pro Division for sure.
Yeah, that was awesome. Shout out to the whole camp, Expendables.
Yeah, shout out to Dave Hopkins. Actually, just talked to him the other day. What a great, again, paintball patron. Awesome organization. I'd love to see them make a little comeback here. Yo,
Artie, what's going on with the MXL? I know you got big things going on with your league.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
So I'm really excited. The next event's going to be in Querétaro, which is very close to Mexico City. For all those teams that are in the center area, the thing is gonna be full soon. It's gonna pop. I think it's gonna be a great event. I just got this expo place where I'm gonna do the event. It's called Eco Centro, where they do the fair basically. So I think it's gonna be cool. The last event's gonna be here in Guadalajara in my new field. So I moved the location of my field. So this 6 months have been just working hard of having the new park ready for either the MXL or just having a paintball field, available for players. So it's been really, really hard, but it's been really cool to see how, when you put something on paper and then you see it develop like that, you're like, oh, great. It's just exactly how I pictured it. So
talk to us about some of the hurdles of moving your entire paintball park. I'm sure that was a lot.
It was really, just to think about it, it just gave me the chills of like, if you tell me you have to do it all over again and it's November after Cup, I'm gonna be like, no, please, I'm not gonna do a paintball field anymore. It is really hard to do it, but like I said, once you do all that, whoever has a paintball field and is listening to this knows how hard it is to actually move all the things that you save on a paintball field, like all the crap that you have there. Once you start like to dig out rooms, it's crazy. But anyway, yeah, in August 17 and 18, we're having that event. All the teams that are from the US can come. I actually have a 406 finalist from Chris Drangle coming to the pro, or the Ultimate Champions, as I call it here. It's an open division, like it's D2, but you can have as many pros as you want, but they have to play only 1 point per pro, basically. So you can have two at the same time on the field, but you can have them rostered. And then you can have like 3D1s. So it's basically really hard to win one of those as well. If the teams, come and show, I think that it's a really, like, people tell me, I saw Nico Hyde playing with FSU over there overseas, and he was just preaching how good the league is and how he always tells American players to come down and try it, because he had a lot of fun when he came. And that's kind of like what I preach. Like, every time you come, you get a good paintball experience, good level, but you also have a lot of fun. It's like very different from like an NXL, where you're like, you can have like focus and playing and all this, but you can also really like enjoy being on the field and talking with players and getting like signings and whatever. Like, people just want to take a picture with you. That's when you have like pro players. And even if you're like a semi-pro player, to come down to this ones will give you so much experience that you can jump to that next level so quick. So I encourage everybody that's listening to this that come down and practice and play in the MXL, because you'll have a lot of fun for sure. I try to make the event as professional as possible, as like a small NXL, like the same pits, international referees, like good staff. I have like a little webcast that's free, so people can just like watch themselves playing again. And people can be like watching, your son or your cousin or your friend on the computer. So, try to make it cool so people, enjoy it. And that's kind of like my thing, to make it as professional as possible, as fair as possible. Well, fair has to be, a word that you try to. I haven't played in Mexico since 2016 when I owned the league. So I was like, if I want to run this, I can't play in my own thing, That's how, the fairness of the thing, that's the way I think about it. And yeah, excited. I just had tryouts this weekend for taking Mexico team to, this is like what this hat's all about. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Baja Blasters, is going to give us a lot of this hats to sell and, fund the team. So excited for that. I just got like the first 6-7 players already locked in for the event. I'm still having another 5 or 6 players, well, probably 4 or 3, that can go and fight for their spot to get the experience. I'm a little bit bummed that I'm not going to be able to take like a women's team or like U16 or U19. It's hard. People don't have, it's hard to fund all of that, and it's hard to actually have people that have the time. But at least I'm going to take the first year this year, a men's team to compete over there, which is going to be fun. And probably next year we'll have more teams going over there.
Well, let us know how we can help too. We want to make sure that the Mexican paintball culture is strong and everybody's having a lot of fun, and we want to build as many different teams that we possibly can out of your camps.
Thank you, brother. Yes, I mean, just having me here and talking about it helps a lot for sure. Everybody that wants to support the team will be able to get like jerseys, hats, bandanas, everything that we can provide for people if you can buy them, and that's going to go directly to funding, or hotels or paint or whatever we can, so it's going to be a fun experience. So we're going to try to make it something yearly,
It's a big journey.
It is. Yeah. Like last year, all Team USA went over there, and I was, I was planning going to a Dynasty practice. And then like that week was like a message, oh, we won't have practice because most of the team's going to be in Paris. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was fun because I stayed home. It was my birthday weekend, so that was cool. But then everybody on the team was like, why weren't you there? I was like, well, I thought we had practice. Like, I didn't know that we could like take that weekend off and go to Europe and play. So for this year, I was like, no, this year I'm taking the teams. I'm going to Paris, bro. So yeah, Cynthia hasn't been over there. Cynthia's my wife. So hasn't been over there, so I'm gonna take her. Probably stay a couple of days and
Awesome.
then come back directly to practice. So I'm buying my tickets in a couple of hours probably. So
There we
yeah,
go.
excited for
Nice.
that for sure.
Awesome.
Shout out to Cynthia too. She helps so much with the
Dude,
paintball culture
she's
there
the
as well. And
MVP.
yeah, she really is. She's
Yeah,
awesome and always has your back. Like you said, you needed to go on a trip, and boom, she's there to
dude.
watch over everything. Yeah.
Easy. She has the dog. I just got a new dog, so he's like a velociraptor eating everything. So she's like, "Yeah, I know that she doesn't like it because you can see her face, like, "Yeah, I'll be on top of everything." But you know,
Yeah, yeah.
she's giving you the look of, you better, I'm going to
Make it
Paris,
up.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. She loves it. I love her because of all we do together. We have a good team going on for years now.
Absolutely.
So it's cool. Every time we do an MXL, she's over there handling business. Like everybody wants to pay me, and I'll go like, nope, you go to her. Make sure, because everybody talks to me and try to,
Yeah, yeah.
sweet talk to me and like, oh well, can I get a this? No, I don't know anything about
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Just go with her. She won't give any discounts to anybody. She's ruthless, and
Yeah, go
that's what we
see
need
her.
because it's hard. Yeah, of
Of course.
course.
So
So yeah.
what's the dog's name? You got a new dog?
Yeah, his name's Rocket. He's probably
Rocket.
outside scratching at the door.
Yeah.
My girl gave me the dog just like 10 days after my old dog passed away, which was
Oh,
a real
oh
bummer.
no. Oh,
Still devastated for that. Yeah, but
I'm so sorry.
I think that's part of life. And Rocket has been cool because I think like Django, which was my like
Yeah.
the more my old dog, probably like whispers on his ear of how to behave and stuff with
Mhm.
us. So it's good. I love Rocket. I love Django through Rocket now. So I think
Yeah.
it's a part of life. Yeah,
Yeah, Django
definitely,
was the best dog ever, man, and
dude.
that was your road dog. You guys were together on the adventure everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So it was really hard. I was actually in practice when I figured out that he was not gonna make it through the weekend.
I'm sorry,
So
brother.
yeah, it's okay. But it was hard for sure. But now having a small dog just keeps me distracted. It's
Yeah.
a new adventure of teaching him, and he's just biting everything.
Yeah,
It's
your shoes are
crazy,
toast.
dude. My socks. He eats all my socks. Like he uh threw up the like yesterday, and it just sucks, and I'm like, what are you
Oh my
doing, bro? Like it's crazy. I just have to be making sure that all my shoes are on top of things, and I
Yeah.
just give him things to play on. But he's growing so fast. Gonna be big pup.
It's
Yeah.
like having a baby in the house again. Um,
Exactly.
so Artie, I kind of want to dive back into NXL
Yeah.
Europe and
Okay.
talk about like the tournament and kind of walk through that tournament with you and what it was
Okay.
like, because this was only your second time going over there to Europe. There's a lot
Yes.
of hurdles that you have to jump, not just time difference. Nutrition is a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
New team, new field, new everything. You didn't even walk the field. You showed up and had to play a tournament on this, and were able to muster up, the will to be really successful out there. So I want to talk about how like that journey went for you.
Okay.
Flying over there and then just going. Did you guys go straight into practice, or how did it all go?
Okay, so first off, once I have my flight, the plan was for me to fly to Madrid and then from there to Paris, and then all the team was gonna take that same flight to practice on Wednesday on the field. But Mexico time was having a different plan, so I arrived basically when the other flight from Madrid to Paris was gonna go. So I got stuck in Madrid for like 6 hours. It was a pain. You know how that goes. They didn't know where my bag was. So I knew from then that my bag wasn't going to arrive on the tournament. So I missed the first day of practice, which was a bummer because I really wanted to have that extra
Yeah.
day to be with the team and look at the layouts, look what we could accomplish. But that didn't happen. So I arrived all like another 10 hours after. So it was already like 30 hours of traveling.
Holy.
Yeah, it was hard. It was a little rough. But then I arrived, and it's funny because they were like, "Oh, perfect, you arrived," and I was like super like tired, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Okay, we're having a meeting right now, so we can plan out everything." And I was like, "Okay, perfect. I haven't seen the field, but we're having a meeting." So they just showed me the maps, and they were talking, and I was just trying to pick their brains on what was good on the field, what could shoot what, and basically like from what I figured, I was trying to tell them some stuff, and I could see their faces like, "Oh, he's right," like, "Oh, this is." And I was like asking like the questions like, hey, can you get here without, getting shot from this guy or stuff like that? And the fun part is like, hey, what code do you use for this? And they're like, no code, no code. I was like, okay, what do you use for this? No code. How do you call this? Oh, sometimes we just say this. And I was like, no, we need to figure some stuff out, because we need to control, and we need to figure out, like Marcelo said, they speak French. I speak Spanish. So having English as the middle language for both of us was not going to be easy. And plus, some of their players don't speak English, a lot. So for me to communicate with them, like, what happened in this point? Who shot you, or how do you shoot? Because sometimes there were players that asked me, like, I don't know what to do. And then they didn't speak English. So I had to like explain through a translator what he could do in different like scenarios. Like, if this happens, then you can do this. If this doesn't happen, then you can this other thing. But for him to understand it, it was kind of like they look at you and they go like this, but sometimes they don't understand what you're saying. So I'm like, okay, I need to actually like get into his brain and make sure that he understands what I want from him and what he can do after this. Because probably he was out of position. Maybe he wasn't playing the position that he normally plays. So after the breakout, he was like, lost. And that the good thing about them is, or those players, that they were able to ask the questions. Like, I was like, don't be ashamed of asking me. That's what I'm here for. I want to help you to be better and understand what we can do together. So if you can just tell me what you think and what happened, or if you don't understand anything about it, I can go through and tell you what I think you should do. Maybe I'm not right, but this is what I would do in your position if this or this or this would happen. So that was fun. Next day, after we had that little meeting, wasn't that long. It was very productive. I was able to give a little bit of what I wanted to do. We named some bunkers. Actually, changed a little bit of I didn't want it to come in and be like, no, this is not good. We need to do this and do that. I was just trying to be like, okay, absorb what I could with what they had, and try to like give them a little bit of my opinion of maybe we can change this because this sound just like this other bunker. So if we can just change this, it will be better for understanding everything. So they were okay with that, and they were really open to listening to me, and I like that you could see that they were enjoying my approach of how I wanted to make the team better in the way I wanted, and that was cool. So Thursday, of course, my bag didn't arrive. My bag didn't arrive on Thursday either. They didn't know where it was, so it was a little bit, like, like, where's my stuff? Like, you can't play without your stuff, and you know how that goes. So anyway, I practiced Thursday with stuff from everybody, which is not fun. Because the first thing you do with, your goggles from somebody else. I wasn't there. Sorry. Yes. I practiced with all stuff with some other people that were my sponsors, which was good, but it wasn't mine, You
got so lucky.
Yeah, I got so lucky that there were people using my stuff. So it was fun. Anyway,
it's difficult to like when you get it's a relationship you build with your gear too. You have to really build that relationship.
I'm not doing it. I'm sitting the day out. It's just I'm not borrowing someone else's goggles and pads. I'm just not doing it.
I'm with you.
I'll walk the field.
I didn't practice the field. I never played it. I needed to know what was all that about. So I was like, all right, like. I didn't enjoy it. I gotta say, I was like, all right, closing my eyes and doing this, and it wasn't fun. I didn't even see myself, just so that like, because I knew how funny looking I was looking. So I was like, I don't even want to know what I'm looking right now. So
I love it. I love the dedication. Let's go.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. And then we finished practice. We had late games because the team won the first one, which was kind of good. After practice, I went to get my bag to the airport. That took like 2 or 3 hours of my time, and then going to the hotel, preparing everything, making sure my stuff was nice and crispy for next day. So we started playing our 2 games on Friday evening. First match was against Mikey's team, London Nutrition. So he played really well that match. I got like dinked out a couple of times. Learned my lessons on that first match. Learned a lot, and we were able to win the match by like 2 points, but it was a close match. We did some mistakes, which, like I said, the first match was the hardest because we didn't even know what was going on. And then we started to learn a little bit more and a little bit more. And then the next match was against, I think, let me remember who it was against. Well, I don't exactly recall who it was, but I do remember I think it was Manchester Firm. I think so. And it was a close match again. Like, like you get overconfident a little bit. You think you're holding the tape, and then all of a sudden somebody like pops the top from somewhere and just get whacked in the face, and it's like, oh, okay, we're playing that game. All right, let's start playing that game. And we won that match with like a little bit better, like 2 points, but we got like a penalty here and there, and we lost like a 5-on-3, a 3-on-1, and I was like super stressed out about it. I was trying to make them know that that wasn't, allowed, that we couldn't make those mistakes. We can't lose a 5-on-2 or a 3-on-1 on if we want to win the tournament, So we talked, we did this little meeting, and then we had another 2 matches next day. Those 2 matches were, better controlled by the team. We like mercy ruled both teams, and you could see the improvement, that we were progressing in a good direction.
Yeah.
I understood the field a little bit more the next day, and then we went through on the first on our bracket, I thought, and we had the winner of attrition in Manchester Firm, which both teams we played already. So we got Mikey's team on Sunday, and then we played better that match. It wasn't easy, but we were able to like mercy rule their team by playing controlled. And once we had the advantage, we just kept on the gas, but with control, aggression, and just controlling the field. And that gave us the advantage the whole match. And that was like one of those matches when you're always on top and you're always winning, controlling the pace. And we were able to win that one. Going forward against Marcelo's team, actually, Marcelo had some surprises for me. You never told me, Marcelo, what you had waiting for me. You just told me before the match, and I was like hoping that you could tell me that.
It was shooting you in the overtime point off the break.
Oh, okay.
That was the surprise. It should have worked. It should have worked.
Probably would have lost if you didn't shoot me. If you wouldn't shoot me, then you probably would have. Yeah.
Maybe we should have shot P-Zone. We were going for the wrong guy.
Yes.
We were going for the wrong guy. We should have shot P-Zone. Yeah. The more that I think back to that match too, there were multiple moments in that match where we had an opportunity to win. We went up 3-1 with there was still a lot of time, but that's the mark of a young team, right? And the Lucky 15s are a bunch of young players, 2 years in the pro division for a lot of the guys. And, we learned a lot from that as well. You talk about how your team, I would love to see, the comparison with your guys' meetings after some of those games and, ours and the things that were discussed. I'm sure us both being Dynasty players, a lot of the conversations were pretty similar, as far as what went right and wrong. But that was a brutal one, because I feel like if we do pull out the win against you guys, we have a really good chance of beating Breakout in the final as well.
Yes, I think so too. You guys were playing really well.
Yeah.
Once we were down 3-1, I was a little bit worried. I'm not gonna say. I was like, okay, we need to make it. We need to start playing better. We need to change something. That point, I think it was the 3-1 where you sent like multiple bodies just to flood the snake and bunker. It was funny because I wasn't actually in the spot where they came and bunker. Like I was just on the wire, shot a little bit, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the next one because it's time. And as soon as I'm starting to crawl to the next one, somebody comes down and bunkers me, and I trade when I'm in the ground. And I was like, man, I was just in the wire. Like he would have just wasted his body by coming, and I just gave him my body. Like it was just so bad timing for me in that moment that I was like, man. And then another guy came and bunkered like another 2 dudes, and you just got the point. I was like, they just want to come down this side. So the next 2 points in my mind, I needed to make a point quick. Like I needed to make a point quick and push a little bit more, because I hadn't like pushed, because in this field, once you go to their side, you're just susceptible of getting bunkered anywhere. Like they'll just come if they know you're there. But I didn't have a choice, so I had to go and get a couple of kills, and we were able to do that. I remember like shooting a guy on inside, and I knew your guy on the other side of me was shooting across the field, so I had his back if I went and bunker him. And I knew that there was a guy in the little temple because I could hear him shooting like my way, and I knew that if I wrapped, I could probably get that kill and then the other guy. But I was like, nah, I'm just gonna get this kill and hope my team, gets because obviously that can go wrong in a whole, tons of ways, because I can shoot at him and then maybe he shoots me and I didn't shoot the other guy and we lose the point. So I was like, I'm just gonna bunker the guy. So I just went, bunker the guy, got blasted, and my team won that point with like a minute and 30 or a minute something in the clock. And the next point we were able to won again, in a controlled manner again, like pushing and You know, we got the good kill on the snake side where I was able to like go on their side again and wrap and get another couple of kills, go all the way, and we tied it. And then for the overtime point, like you said, Marcelo, like it's funny because that point I was like, I'm gonna run a little bit faster, like I'm gonna like go there, you know. But I think I run faster, but in a wrong direction or something.
Yeah, you were off. And it was the way you guys were lined up. I was able to tell where you would be diving, and we have a call for like that zone on the turf, which was the deeper route. I mean that worked, which was great, but you know, again, your team was still able to pull it out. And I made a mistake as well. So from a coaching perspective, I really believe in having open dialogue with your players. I think your players' input's really valuable. And one of those points, you came down the field. I originally had the play set for our guy to be in the snake 2 to look down the wire right there, because you know how you could catch him crawling around the 3. And for some reason, as he was walking out there, he was saying, I think I should do it from the snake 1. I could see it better from the 1. I was like, okay, I trust you. For some reason, you want to do it from the 1. Okay, let's do that. And then I'm watching it unfold, and he just couldn't even see you really. And you go right around. I'm like, oh
no.
That was not the right decision.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, again, that's kind of a learning curve there for both him and I, right? It's, you know, maybe in his mind, he says, okay, maybe trust a little bit more the play. And in my mind, next time I'm like, okay, how much leeway do you give certain players? But I think it's important, you know, in even the divisional teams that I coach, I have players sometimes where I'm like, hey, you know, what do you feel in this point? Do you want to go around and up or up and over? Like, what, you're the one running the routes. So what are you comfortable with right now? Not always. Sometimes it has to be really definitive and black and white, but you know, there's certain players that you work with and you kind of gather that information from. But yeah, that was a painful one. You know, if it weren't for being in Greece on vacation the whole next, you know, week, I would have been pretty sad. I was the first couple days, like the first day I watched the film back with Sahar, and I was just like so bummed because I was like, oh, we should have won this event. You know, it felt that way. But you guys played really well to, you know, have a comeback victory and then, you know, a down body situation in overtime. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah. It was definitely hard to watch from the outside because I wanted to be in the field for that point. But I was really proud of the team, honestly. That we were in the worst possible situation. Like that guy in the tower was just getting pinched. He was just like this for a lot of the match. It was just hard for you guys to actually get the kill when you guys needed it. And I was surprised, honestly. I was surprised that you guys didn't like you were. I guess that being an overtime point changed the mindset of like the aggression, like controlled aggression. I think, like you said, the Dorito side could have put something together, or the snake side could have put something together to make to bunker the guy in front of him and make it like 3-on-2 or something.
Yeah, I think that's the move. I don't think the Dorito side had much opportunity because that wedge on the snake side can just stop every gap over there, right? So you can't really go past the 50. It was like kind of difficult. And I said this the whole match against you guys because Pizon liked to get out behind you, and you guys were kind of stacked up on the snake side. So the move was to go inside and bunker you on the inside. And that's what I wanted our snake guy to do in that 4-on-3 was go inside and trade with that wedge.
Yes.
Because then it would be, and that tower was kind of going back and forth, but he could have traded with that wedge a lot sooner and it would have been a 3-on-2 instead of a 4-on-3. It's much easier to win a 3-on-2 than a 4-on-3. You know, you 100%. Get that body off the field. Now, you know, it opens up the Dorito side. The Dorito side can go win the 2-on-1 against the tower. And there's one left, you know, over on the snake side. That's the whole time. I'm like, for like 2 minutes, I'm like, oh, Greeny, please do it. And Greeny had been playing so lights out. I mean, he had did you see our overtime point against Ron Holt Blast in the prelims?
I think I saw him go off and bunker like everybody on the snake side, right?
Artie, it was crazy. And it was so funny. It's so funny how things work. Actually, this is exactly like what you just said, how you said in the overtime point, you said to yourself, I'm just going to run fast because I want to get there alive. And you ended up getting shot.
Yes.
Well, in overtime, we were already 3-0. So we were guaranteed into Sunday. And I was like, okay, guys, I kind of just want to do a conservative breakout. Let's get 5 bodies alive. If we win, cool. If we don't, it's not the end of the world. You know, I wanted to save some of our splash plays and things like that. So they're like, yeah, let's do it. So I go with a conservative breakout and we lose 3 bodies on the break. Somehow we lose 3 bodies in overtime. So I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is a nightmare. And Greeny gets into the snake and he like realizes he just lost a bunch of bodies and he just gets up and runs down the field. He shoots 5 guys. I'm like,
wow,
get him.
2-on-5 in
Talk about
overtime.
good timing.
It was unbelievable. I saw him make that move a few times in practice, so I knew, like, as soon as I saw him get up, I knew that if he got around the other team's wedge and he made that move, I was like, we have a really good chance. If he doesn't get shot in that gap, we could win this. Sure enough, he puts his first ball on him, doesn't get shot, gets to the wedge, shoots the other bodies. I was like, man, bravo. And so I know he knew the move. We talked about it the whole match. Go inside against these guys. That move's open. I think it was a mixture of the moment getting a little big, which was a huge problem in Portugal with the guys, is the moment just kind of got a little too big. I was really impressed with how they bounced back this event, and the whole mentality of the team changed. And we succeeded in a lot of situations that in Portugal, the team didn't have a lot of success in. The mentality is absolutely right. And these kids have a ton of confidence now, but I think it was a mixture of, like, maybe still a little bit of the moment, but also I think they were exhausted. I could see in the body language, a lot of our guys, they were pretty exhausted, which is, something you got to prepare for. You got to be able to go the distance. If you're playing well, I need you to play every point. If you're, I don't want you to sit if you're having a good match, so that's, another thing we got to work on, but the boys are hungry coming into Paris. That's for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that game was entertaining. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. Luckies versus Skalp in the, that was in the quarters or the semis. That's right. Yes. And then, Artie, what was it like, going into the finals? What's your mentality like, going into that big game, that last game?
My only thought was I needed to beat Skinny. That was my main thing. Just kidding. No, it was cool. Once I was there, I was like, okay. And then it's funny how things play out, because FSU was playing lights out. They had like a great team going for them on that event. They had like Nico, Smotrub, who was playing with them also that was like really good. I mean, Hero was playing with them. They had like a great mixture of players, Marky France, and they beat the Tauntauns on the prelims, and they beat the Tauntauns on the quarterfinals. And Tauntauns was playing really well as well. Like, they were very aggressive on the snake side. They just went and like missiles and went through that snake side. They were losing like 6-2 or something like that, and they came back to tie it and go to overtime. And they ended up losing on that overtime. So I don't know how the matchup with another team like the Tauntauns or FSU would have been with our team. I'm not sure how it would have went. But the way things unfolded is that FSU lost against Breakout, and then we had Breakout on the finals, which I've never played against. So I didn't know what to expect. They were really good. They were really, really good shooting off of the break. It's funny how you play a match against a team, and then you play a match against another team, and you played it completely different just because of how you match up with them, right?
Yeah.
Like my team in those finals. And it's funny because that first point against Breakout, I got to say, a little bit stolen on that. They gave me a major for having nothing. And instantly they gave them the point, which I already won because I bunkered everybody. And they gave them the point, and we started with 4 because the ref called a hit on me that I didn't have. They didn't even know where the hit was. And I was like, okay, tell me where I'm hit. And they were like, in your wrist. And you know how that Pro DNA tape that I started to use, that white one? And I just put new one that was white. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no paint whatsoever there. Like, you're just, because it's funny. I went to bunker the guy. He popped the top. He saw me. And once he popped the top again, I shot him. I could hear the refs go, hit once he jumped. And I was like, oh, he's a kill. So I didn't even have to shoot him again. So I just kept going and shot the other guy. He missed me. And they just pulled me. And I was like, that was a little bit like frustrating for me, because I was like, damn, yeah. We started that match losing 0-2, basically, because the next point we just lost instantly. Minor and 4 players, we just lost in like 10 seconds. So it started the match with a deficit of 2 points, which was just like heartbreaking. Once it gets on your head a little bit. I was like a little bit pissed, but the good thing is, like, we were able to overcome that and went up on them 4-2, like 4 good points. It was just like, like chopping wood and carrying water, like every point. Like, we were just getting the good kills and, being smart and getting 4 points straight on them. But then we started to make mistakes. I had I sprained my ankle on the finals. I actually sprained my ankles on Friday, the right one. On the finals, I sprained the other one. And this is the reason that happened. We started to change the play on that game. They were sending the guy to the snake one, which was just that little like small wedge in the snake side. And we used that one to shoot across the field. But they were shooting our guys shooting across the field because they were going to that same spot, shooting to the zone, and I was just going to the snake straight ahead. So nobody was putting pressure on them. And in the prelims, I was able to go to the corner or that little Mayan temple shooting for that guy, and I was very successful doing that. But I guess because it was the finals, we didn't want to do that anymore because it was a little bit risky, but it could pay off. Anyway, my guy that was supposed to go and shoot across, he was like, no, I'm just going to run. And I was like, who's going to shoot them then? And he was like, no, I'm just going to run. And I was like, fuck, all right, I'm going to start shooting back at that guy. So I started to do that. So one of the points, he just like slid on myself or something that he basically rolled my ankles like, shit. But it was that match, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong in a sense that like one of the points, one guy that went to that same spot shot me in the back. Another point, I shot my player on the back of the head. Like I was shooting back at them, and then I saw paint came down, and then you see just like straight on the back of the head right here, like shit. Sorry.
So everybody out there who thinks that the pros are just perfect, this stuff happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
I just gave him a pat in the back, like I'm sorry. just straight went and get the point. So it was just fun and at the same time challenging because everything that could have went wrong went. And then they tied the match 4-4. We had like 2:30 on the clock. I just saw the game the other day. It wasn't the overtime point, it was just the last point. And we lost the guy. That point was, if you think about it, was a little bit crazy. Like I was on the snake going into that wedge and shooting across the field. The tape. And then we were down one body. It was 5-on-4. And somehow, I don't know if my angel just basically whispered, like somebody yelled on my team. I think he yelled Viper, which means they're on the little snake on the inside. So I don't know if I heard like the whisper of my angel saying, I think there's Viper. And I was like, it's funny because now that I talk about it, when I tell this story, like I go in to check and I'm like thinking that it's probably nothing. Nobody's going to be there. And then I do one of these and then he's right there. Like his whole body, like just waiting like a devil like this. I was like, he's right there. Oh my God, there's somebody there. So I started like gunfight him and I'm like, I can't die because, I can't die. And he's like so close and he's just shooting his gun. And then I see the video and the guy in front of me is just also shooting on the top and I'm jumping, trying to get him. And I was like, I can't jump anymore because if I jump again, I'm going to get shot and this is over. So I did I need to shoot him. So I did one of my style thingies and I just shot that guy and it was perfect because it was 4-on-4 by then. I was like, oh, great. We got that kill. And then they get a trade on the Dorito side, 3-on-3. Same situation, 2 guys on the back Dorito corners and 2 on the snake sides for each team. But they tried to push it a little bit sooner. We shot their Dorito guy with like 45 seconds. I was able to get that information to our Dorito guy. He pushed. I was like 30 seconds looking for the clock, and I just went and dunked on the guy that was just waiting for me. And the guys on the Dorito side were able to like understand, go shoot the last guy, and with 3 seconds, get the win. Wow. It was amazing walking out of the field, looking back and seeing going exactly how it had to go. They understood perfectly. Both my guys went for it, and we got the W at the end. That was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's grit, man. Grit paintball.
Yeah, definitely. We were fighting for it. We lost Bison on that last point, actually, now that I remember. And he was lights out the whole tournament, getting crucial kills for me on this next side. He was really good. So that was a tough point for sure. Now, if you start to look back into it, Skinny tried to send an assassin
to come get you
to get me. I was Skinny. I saw what you did. Why do you? He needed to go and bunker you, and I was like, oh yeah, but no. It was fun. It was fun playing against Skinny on the finals. We had really an amazing time outside of the field and competing against each other. Makes it really, really fun for sure.
Of course. And then after the tournament, more fun. You guys are hanging out, I'm sure.
Yes.
All 3 of you, March, you guys took 3rd. You made it in the top 3, which is awesome. It's pretty lucky.
Yeah,
absolutely. So close yet so far.
Yeah.
Well, damn, Artie, we do have some Discord questions that we want to get into. Before we hop into there, I want to ask you just one question. You're widely touted as one of the hardest working players in the NXL. I think that's no secret. And I just want to ask you what your motivation comes from. What is it that fuels you to make all the sacrifice? Because it's not easy for you. It's a lot of travel. It's a lot of time away from family. It's long distance, and you continue to do it over and over and over. What is your motivation, or what are a few of your motivating factors?
It's I think my family gives me that motivation, my country for sure, like being the guy that, makes it happen for the country and represents. That's pretty cool, but it's also me. I think I want to do it for me. I want to prove myself that I can still do it and that I can be one of the best. Just plain and simple is just want to thrive and just continue to be the best that you can be. It's hard, especially this last like 8 months after Cup has been really hard just because of the work that I have to put into all the other stuff that I'm doing and not being able to focus just purely and solely on being the best that I can be and competing, knowing that you're probably not in your best version and being able to succeed doing that. It's crazy to me, like there's tournaments where I'm like, training and doing this and doing that, preparing, and I sometimes don't see the field as much. And then there's been tournaments where I know that I haven't been, crispy on my shot, but that comes with years. For that, I can say that as well. That once you have that, you learn. You just need a couple of like good practices, and you'll be right on top of yourself. But I can say that. Some people were like, in Mexico, when you have those talks, they were like, why don't you find another team? Especially when I wasn't getting playing time in some of the tournaments, and they were like, just find another team. And it's hard. And I was like, well, why can't I be one of the guys that play all the points in Dynasty? Like, why can't I be one of those guys? And it's what your mind has to. That's the mindset you have to have, right? Like, you can't be like, oh well, yeah, they're not gonna play me. I just go to another easy team and be the guy. No. You can be the guy in the best team in the world with the best guys that there is. Why not you, right? So that is one of the mindsets, and doing it for my family. Every time, you get a win or a good event and you think about, like you said, Marcelo, all the sacrifices that you do, that's why it comes down to tears, because what you did to make that happen. And when you get it, it's just like, all that pressure goes away, and it's pure happiness. It's just, I really hope that everybody in the world can once at least feel that feeling that I have been able to feel, because it's something different. Like, it doesn't get old, and it just gives me the chills right now just to think about once you get that accomplishment of being the best in something. It's great, and I'm not even done yet. I think that I have to learn so much more. That is one of the reasons I don't think I'm nearly closely to be the best version of myself or the best player that I want to be out there. So I just want to continue to learn. And I know that I make so many mistakes sometimes that I'm very hard on myself when I do them. And it's good that you learn and you notice when sometimes you don't even, like, if you ask somebody like, hey, what can I do better? And they tell you exactly what it's like, okay, well, yeah, I know that. It's good when you know what you did wrong and you can learn from them and keep on, improving, and just, I think it's cool. I think it's, that's what motivates me, I think.
Love that, Artie. Yeah, and let people know where can they follow you on Instagram? How can they support you? How can they support the MXL? Where can they follow all that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram as Arturo Andrade 13. That's how I'm on Instagram. Facebook, I think I'm just like Arturo Andrade. Follow the MXL. We're on Instagram as XBall Mexico, and then we have the new page for the Team Mexico, which is it's hard for English. It's going to be called Selección Mexicana de Paintball, which means the Mexican selection of players.
And then Artie, on that one, how do you? Is it SELEC selection?
Yes, correct. Okay. The only difference between English and Spanish is that we have double C instead of C and then a T.
Okay.
So it's a selection. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you just send me a message or through the XBall Mexico, I can just redirect you, and follow us, support us. What we are trying to do is I think it's good for paintball in general, for Latin America and for America as well. Absolutely. So we're just trying to compete, bring more paintball, teach paintball. I was happy to be able to do like this tryouts on my field this weekend where I had a lot of great players in Mexico, and you can see how they individually are good, but you try to give them that team ball mentality, how they can work together, because that's what I want for the team. Right? We want to go and compete and be able to be good over there. So being able to pass on that knowledge and being able to see how much they want it, that was cool for me, at least this weekend. And hopefully we can have a good competitive team over there that we can be proud of.
Yeah, we're excited to see that. Nations Cup is going to be happening here shortly.
Soon.
And, the final event of NXL Europe as well will be happening at that same time. So a lot of paintball action coming up out there.
Yes. I want to also say for whoever's watching in Europe, I want to play Europe and I don't have a team. So if somebody wants to invite me,
nice.
Send me a message. I will be glad to play the weekend after the Nations Cup. If not, then I'm happy to, hang out and go with my girl and know the city. But, I'm always open to play. Want to have the experience and get those XPs.
You're going to get some messages for sure. They're messaging you right now.
Okay, let me wait for it.
All right.
Lovely.
Artie, a question from the Discord from did we lose him? Oh, we got him.
Yeah.
Okay. From young Stevie, Arturo.
No, I'm here. It was just for a second.
Who originally inspired your form on your snap? If it was original and something you cooked up, what led you to do it?
Okay. It has to be myself. Honestly, we used to play a lot of snap shooting drills when I was coming up in here in Mexico. So every time we were like snapping, I try to perfect it like by looking at the form of how we can do it faster and faster and faster and closer until I was like looking at just the minute things of doing it, and until I was like, oh, this is like I found it for some reason where I understood how to make it and how good it was, because it was, like I said, if we were doing it one-on-ones with other guy and we were so close that where you had to do it, shoot the guy and not being able to for him to hit you. And that's how I started to perfect it somehow by looking at videos, and I was like looking at myself in the mirror and just figuring out like my shoulders is showing or not, and until I just like understood the way to do it, I guess. But yeah, like obviously watching videos from when I was younger, but then you see yourself playing when you were younger and you see how you had like the tank more in the middle and how paintball was back then, and then you started to evolve to the newer version until like you see yourself and you try to make it good. And I think it was more of a me and other players coming together and being like, okay, this is what needs to happen to make it this way. And I teached it to whoever was over here, and there are several players here in Mexico that I teach that do it very similar. Sometimes they whack me in the head with it and I'm like, I don't like it. But yeah, that's how it went. I'm glad it helped somebody that wants to learn from it. Just send me a message and I'll explain how to do it.
There we go. Yeah, hit them up. It's disgusting. Some of these shots that you make definitely have the respect of the entire pro ranks when it comes to gunfighting. And I think I actually kind of remember when you started like actually curating it. It was when you're on Dynasty when you really started like dialing it in those early years, and you've really honed it in. So anybody who goes heads up with Arturo, you got to know he's going to be whipping that snapshot.
It could come. Yeah. Sometimes it's so good. Sometimes it's not, but it could come for sure. You have a great shot, Tyler, by the way. You can't say yours is not as good as mine. It's fucking amazing. I learned from you, bro.
Different.
Talk about having inspiration of somebody. It's probably Tyler. I remember seeing you one-balling people who, right and left, and I was like, damn, Tyler. So it was just so good that probably perfected by watching you.
Right back at you, dude. We push each other. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
What it's all about.
Yes.
Clint Riddle actually is wondering, when you do some drills or maybe when you're with Dynasty, who's your favorite player to snap with?
Okay. I mean, right now, when you were on the team, you were probably right there. I actually enjoyed playing with you because you were able to shoot me a couple times. It was like you had to have your A game. And now probably Harry has a good nasty shot. Chris as well is really good at giving you one balls to the face. So it's probably one of those two for sure. Blake is really good as well. Blake is
a really good gunfighter.
Yeah. He gives those straight ass accurate
Mhm.
shots on you that you don't expect them, and you're like, oh wow, that was good. He's a rifleman, you know, so he's good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, Artie, thank you so much, man.
No,
We
it's a
appreciate
pleasure, guys.
you hopping on with us.
Yeah, brother.
Excellent episode with you, as always, dropping lots of knowledge and tons of inspiration for anyone listening. But
Yeah, we love you, brother.
Yeah, can't
Thank
wait
you,
to
guys.
see you. And God, we still have like a month almost.
But it's gonna
Jeez.
come so fast.
It's gonna come
Don't
fast.
worry about
Yeah,
it.
we have
It's
stuff like
coming.
that in the weekend.
Yeah. Time is
Awesome,
flying.
guys.
So
We'll keep
Yeah,
playing paintball and keep having fun out there.
thank you guys for having me. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk with you guys, and I really enjoy the opportunity.
Dude,
course.
right back at you, Art. And congratulations on the big dub. Keep having fun. And when is the next MXL event? When's that one coming up?
It's August 17 and 18, so it's basically 2 weeks before Paris. It's coming soon, actually. So
Yeah.
keep your heads up for that. Watch us live in YouTube. I'm going to be posting the information, the link. So
Perfect. Tag play the game in that, and we'll
For
be
sure.
sure to repost
Yeah.
it for you.
thank you
Yeah.
for sure. We'll do
Awesome.
that.
Okay, brother.
All right.
You have a good day.
Love you
All right,
guys.
Love you too.
bro.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the orange Patreon link in the corner, and support the show. We greatly appreciate it. We have tiers as low as $1.99 a month. That is nothing, guys, and it'll give you access to the Discord, where you get access to the players chat and get to mingle with the entire PTG community. We have tons of different pros in there. Tyler and myself are very active, and it's an amazing way to support the show. We also have amazing other tiers. If you want to be one of the best, want to be a GOAT, sign up for the GOAT tier. It's the greatest way to support us. And each month we do a private live stream show, one-on-one kind of thing, to where it's just the GOATs, and Tyler and myself will bring in some special guests every now and then, but you get to ask us questions in real time, live on the air, and you get lots of inside juicy news that we don't share on the show. So, as always, we will see you guys very soon.